It's time to find out
What Shane said
with Shane Manila.
We're live. Look at that. We're not really live. We're just recording. Anyone that has watched Shane Says knows that the internet is my enemy. So we're trying a different way to record this because I wanted a guest on, the guest being Jeremy. Not going to try to pronounce his last name. Just pretend his last name is Dynasty Daddy. What's up, Jeremy?
What's up? Thanks for having me. I'm excited to do this.
All right. So this is a short show, right? We usually keep this short. It's usually 15 to 20 minutes, a stream of consciousness coming out of my mouth, spewing. So let's just get right into it. I'm going to present what we're doing today is messing around on Dynasty Daddy, seeing what we can use, what we can do. But rather than explaining it, let's just get into it. I'm going to share a screen. All right. So I'm going to assume people know how to log in. I'm going to give them that benefit, that grace. If you don't, DM Jeremy, and he'll explain you how to log in, or just figure it out because it's really intuitive. So yeah, I logged in. This is one of my sleeper leagues. This is actually a Dynasty Trades in 5 listener league, and it is called Squirt. Classy. We keep it classy. Very, very classy. So I picked this team on purpose. This team, if you look at these rankings right here, right? What are these? What are these rankings? These contender tiers? What is that, first of all?
Yeah, so contenders, the main rankings that power all the power rankings is the starter rank and the fantasy market rank or dynasty rank, right? So you're currently looking at the contender view, which only will show starter rank. If you do the other view, it shows dynasty value mainly, but the contender tiers are all based on your starter rank and current season outlook. And that's done by using current season ADP. And then once the season starts, it uses rest of season rankings so that, if a player gets injured, the ADP usually doesn't update for that player. So that's how you can kind of see like overall rank here is 1, but contender tier is rebuilding. It's probably this team has a lot of picks, a lot of value in the future, but not a lot of current season value that they can kind of realize.
Right. So screw the other people in the league because I don't care about them. Me, you can see my trade value really low. I'm one of the worst in the league. You look over at my draft rank, 10th most, 10th lowest, 10th highest, 10th in the league. That's how we'll say that. And we can bring that up. And the reason for that is the only pick I have is a 2026 first. That's less than ideal. That's not how I generally build teams. But we go to contender view, and we'll look at starter rank. And I'm in 6th, right? A little bit better. Let's close that. This gives us a snapshot, right? My starter ranks are 6th. My QBs are bomb, 4th. Running backs are bomb, 4th. Wide receivers, 8th. Tight ends, 5th. Flex contender rank. That's new. I don't remember seeing that. Or I just didn't notice it.
If you're on, so normally, like the dynasty value, like the flex dynasty value doesn't make any sense. Like we don't care about that. That's why on the trade value view, we have draft rank for your draft capital. But on the starter, like contender view, you want to see what your flex rank is. So that's kind of like, if you have flexes, that's your flex players. That's where they rank overall, which overall, I mean, I don't think that's like being 8 isn't bad there. Cause like a lot of times you're kind of plug and play a bunch of gross type of guys to capitalize on certain players. So, but that's how it is. So like, it's probably picking up like Marshawn Lloyd, maybe Devin Singletary. I don't know how many flexes your team has or this league has.
Oh, you expect me to know? Oh, wait. I can tell you. Can I? There's somewhere I can tell you, kind of.
Yes.
Scroll down here.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, look at that. There's position settings. There's one tight end. And then this cool little thing here is what's this 53 rostered? I know what it means, but let's pretend I don't. Oh, okay. What does that 53 rostered mean?
Yes. Well, this is Scott messaged me about adding this, but basically it's a sum of all the players at that position rostered in your league. So you can kind of say, okay, like I know, for example, like y'all been preaching the NEQB on like 2 deep or whatever, like catchphrase. But like if one league has way too many quarterbacks rostered, it might not make sense to keep rostering quarterbacks. So it's a way to kind of diagnose your league at a high level and figure out like, okay, how many quarterbacks are rostered, how many running backs are rostered. I do want to clean it up, but I just kind of wanted to get it out there as quickly as I could. So, but yeah, it's an easy way to just look into all your data. It also has your scoring settings for your league, so it's kind of easy to get a high level view of what your league is and what you got to start. So you got 4 flex spots in this. So I mean there's a lot of flexes there.
So that's probably why I'm 8th. It's probably saying, well, Devin Singletary, Marshall, and Lloyd are flexible, and then holy Christ, what is going on? What is going on after that? Well, Hopkins up until now, so it's probably be a little worse actually because he's can't walk. That's actually important in fantasy football. Little known
that
fact,
is true.
You want wide receivers that can run. Well, you want them to at least be able to walk fast. Maybe jog fast, you know what I mean? They get old and they get like maybe a dad runner speed. That'd be fine. I don't even know that with Nook. So that's unfortunate. One more thing. I just wanted to point it out. Look at it. Let's see. You've got fantasy market in here too, right?
Yes.
And wait, where'd it go? Where is it? Oh, there you go.
I don't think you're logged in.
I'm not logged in, so we're not even going to look at that. Okay, but there's League Infused that makes it even better, right?
Yes, so that's something. It's a little bit experimental right now, but we use multiple years of war and current season projections to kind of map out the value based on the selected fantasy market. So if you're like, oh, I want to use ADP Daddy or Keep Trade Cut or whatever, we then run that through an algorithm, spit out, like if you have a crazy league that has tight end values really high, I've seen a couple of those, that would be more reflected. It's kind of our way of handling tight end premium rankings or point per carries, different types of scoring settings like that might not be reflected in general rankings that like Keep Trade Cut can provide.
So, and you'll see that when I'm changing these, it doesn't have a super crazy impact on the rankings, which is probably makes sense, right? Because it'd be a little concerning from a programmer perspective if just changing the rankings completely flipped the script, right? So that's at least what I think, and I'm not even going to let you answer that. I'm just going to say that that's correct. So we think I'm about mid, right? So if I go over on this left-hand side, here's some fun stuff, right? This is all league tools. I was playing around with this last night, and I wanted to check out the playoff calculator because I think that's fun too. So I click on the playoff calculator, and then here's my team. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
Yes.
I'm literally mid-pack, mid-tier. Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, though, right? A team with very little draft capital that is just mid. You, as a fantasy player, what would you think about that?
Oh, yeah. I mean, this is, for me, I think it's something of like, I've seen people like this where it's like they've had teams and then they like press the nuke button. They're like, I'd say it's like you're driving a car. Eventually, it's going to crash because you have no picks. And like they don't want it to actually crash. They don't want to have to wait for it to crash. So they just crash the car themselves and like rebuild. I think if you're like in the playoffs, the odds are pretty much the same, whether you're 1 through 6. I mean, it's slightly better if you're 1. So I would definitely be playing this by ear, but also kicking as much value as I can to the future without hurting my current time frame. Right? Like I know you have like a Tyreek Hill, for example. Like I'm not saying go trade Tyreek Hill, but there might be ways you can pick up grosser players and try to keep stringing along the odds to make the playoffs without just crashing the car and then being like, well, now I have to rebuild and I don't have any of my picks.
And then in case people didn't know, I can do a trade finder, right? Where I can select players to try to trade away. You just mentioned Tyreek Hill. So let's do Tyreek Hill, right? And now what do I do? How do I make this work?
Yeah, so right now you're using Pro Football Network trade value. So this tool is kind of inspired by I would say the 2K, what's it called? Like trade block, where when you play 2K, you can select what players you want to trade and then just ask for proposals. So this is like, okay, I want to move Tyreek Hill. What can I get? And usually the way I like to use it is if you go up a little bit and press that gear icon, you can also filter out positions. So if I'm saying, okay, I want to tear down off a certain player, I like to do let's do a tear down on wide receiver. So filter out tight end and running back. And then we can just click the ask for trade proposals. And that will give us somewhat fair. Sometimes, it will say, hey, this favors this this side way more, but it will go through and try to generate a bunch of fair trades based on the rosters in your league. So then you can try to say, okay, cool, is this a trade that I'd be interested in, or a player that maybe I could swap out a piece? Like if you don't want Dotson, you're like, I'll take Smith in a second or something. Like it gives you some inspiration to easily address all the rosters in your league without having to constantly scroll through all these rosters and try to come up with them yourself. You can kind of skip a lot of that process, and then you can just keep clicking to ask for trade proposals, and it will generate brand new ones. So I'll usually just come in here and just click through a bunch of them. Sometimes you get those big ones. I try to limit those, but sometimes it just keeps picking a bunch of players that don't have a ton of value.
Yeah, Dynasty Trades in 5 does not approve of this trade. But look, what this can also do is I'm never going to let a machine tell me what to do, because I'm smarter than a machine. Not really. But it does give you ideas, right? And then that's part of, like, you want things that spur your brain. What could I do if Rashee Rice and Xavier Legette, right? Because and a pick probably is probably the lowest I would go. Now, me personally, even though I should sell Tyreek, I'm not selling Tyreek. I've talked about that before. I'm not moving off of Tyreek. I'm gonna try to run this probably into the ground. But yeah, you're telling me basically. I mean, what this tool is telling me, as much as I'm trying to ignore it, is that I should be looking for ways to get creative and rebuild this roster, reload this roster, start over again. Now, Tyreek Hill, probably the highest priced or highest valued asset from a production standpoint. So I'm going to hold off. If I was going to move him, I would wait until the points matter, right? Because right now points are theoretical. They are aspirational. They are something else, some other word there, but they're not real. Once they start being real, his value will tick up. Even though he's already worth $49.97.
I don't know which fantasy market this is, but I mean, he's definitely worth dynasty process. But he's I mean, if I was you, I'd be looking to. I think like someone like a Jared Goff for me would be where I'm looking at to really move. Whether it's something like I always love to do, trade a quarterback down and pick up like another QB in a second or something like that. Like I did that with like Baker Mayfield a ton last year. Like just buy the guy that no one believes in, and then if they hit, you can get that player in a second. But I do think Jared Goff right now, his value is pretty high, and considering you already have like Caleb Williams and Kyler, like I'm okay living and dying by Kyler and Caleb Williams, and then that could be something where you kind of recoup some of that future value without sacrificing your short-term vision.
All right, and I missed this last time, but you can pick specific teams. I'm not getting all specific because I don't care who I trade with. I would trade with anybody. So let's just say Goff, right? What do I need based on what I saw in my wide receivers and obviously trade capital? Again, just hit ask for value. Oh, this is trying to get me a little older, Devontae Adams. But I'll tell you what, getting Devontae Adams on this team would lean more into the title run.
That would.
And kick the can. Maybe next year after I win the title, I go, all right, now I'm really gonna move off of the old people, and I'll take any first for Tyreek, even though he's got 2 more years. I'll take any first for Devontae. Maybe I tear down at quarterback, things like that. So I don't want to belabor or go too long with you. Your time is valuable. Another tool, pretty cool. How do I find the free agents?
Oh yes. So if you go to it's the player rankings under player tools.
Oh, right there, right in front of me. Gotcha.
Yes. So when you're
Pat
logging,
Mahomes?
Huh? No, you have to toggle the free agents. But so this is when you log in, the free agents toggle will show up, and then you can filter out all your free agents. So that's a nice way of being able to scope out what players are available, and especially like I love doing the filters on the side as well. Finding out what running backs are there, what are their trends. You can track their trends over the past 30 days, their points for last year. And then you can also drill into each individual player by just clicking on the name, and that will navigate you to a completely customized page on basically everything about that player.
Well, Chris Brooks, I remember picking him up last year with big hopes and dreams.
Yes.
That's just a reminder. Late round running backs, undrafted free agents. Look, we do say any running back on a 53, and you are better served getting running backs and quarterbacks on your roster than garbage wide receivers. But just be realistic and what the most likely outcome is. The most likely outcome is running backs like Chris Brooks are never going to amount to anything. And if they do, you should be flipping them pretty much immediately for any value you could get. Like this guy, I'd be picking him off the free agency waiver wire. So if I could get, I don't know, a third for him, I'd probably be right there. So my team is mid. To be honest with you, the starters are good, but I have no trade capital, and I'm not actually a strong contender. I'm not a super contender. So, I mean, I might, maybe. I hate punting years. I might see if I could do a soft rebuild. Like, yes, can I move Tyreek Hill for, I don't know, just spitballing here, Chris Olave in a 26 first, which is more palatable than a 25 first, probably to someone. I think I don't remember if I have Chris Olave on this team, to be honest with you, but I could just go back and look. There is that. Look at that. Tyreek Hill. No, my wide receivers are not great.
They're a little crusty.
Yeah. There's Tyreek Hill and then Terry McLaurin. Those are legit starters. And then there's a bunch of dudes. Really, and my running backs is where I should be dealing from. Jahmyr Gibbs. That's where I should be moving. Jared Goff.
Yeah, like a Goff, a Gibbs, a Kamara even. Like I think there's probably a contender that will give you something for Kamara.
Right. And then these are guys I probably want to wait till in season to make moves on when points count. So just for funds, let's just look at the WAR tool. Just look at it. I'm not smart enough to understand most of what WAR is. I know it's very, very pretty. But if I wanted to just look up my team, let's see here. I am Shane. That's me, right? That's me.
Yes.
So you can look at the WAR. And what I like is you got WAR tiers. So even a simple person like me can understand that. This doesn't look good, Jeremy. I can be honest with you. I've got the league
You got
breaker.
one league breaker.
And then elite. We start off well, right? And then it quickly disintegrates. Although I gotta be honest, why is Jahmyr Gibbs only a starter?
I mean, that's based on the WAR. So
okay.
You'll see some weird results in here sometimes where it'll be like Kyler's not the bench piece, but based on his WAR from last season, like he was, because he missed like 8 games. And it's not based on WAR per game.
Right. And then if you wanted to look at the points per game from last year, you can see that this is why I actually did very well last year in this league. Won the title. Just want to throw that out there.
Okay.
But you could tell I went all in to do so. So let's move on to something else, right? So let's just pretend my team sucks. Clearly, I need help on how to draft better, maybe. Can you help me with that? Is there anywhere on your site that I could maybe, I don't know, do a mock draft?
Yes, the thing that says mock draft.
Look at that. Oh, look at that. Fantasy draft simulator, mock draft simulator.
Yeah, this is actually a completed draft. So this is your previous draft.
Well, what the hell? Happened. All right. But if I wanted to.
Yeah, if you wanted. So right now, it'll break down your current draft. On the sidebar, it has some toggles where you can say like most valuable pick, best value pick, things like that. And then if you want to create your own, you can go down here. If you click the select draft option at the top.
Oh, slow down here. Select draft. Oh, yeah. Okay. Create mock draft.
You can create your own.
Oh, and I can make it rookies or I can make it all players. Do I have to put a sleeper draft ID in?
No, that's just if you want it to like track what sleeper's doing.
All right. And we can go up to 9 rounds, which
I need to make that wider.
We can make that starters. Most leagues are snake, right? Oh, 3rd round reversal. That's what everybody's doing.
Reversal.
Super flex, confirm. And then if I hit live, that'll start it up.
Yeah. You have to reset the settings if you do live, I think.
Well, let's just see what happens.
But it will do a live rookie draft.
Oh.
I don't know if you have any picks though.
No. So there's a live rookie draft. I should have made it not rookies.
You could have set a different team name though. You could have been like, like Mr. Baby or something.
I don't want to be Mr. Baby. I don't like Mr. Baby's team. Let's look at Mr. Baby's team compared to mine real quick. Maybe I should like Mr. Baby's team. Mr. Baby is, he's better than me according to starter rank. He's 4th. That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it's close. It's all in the same tier, though. That's important to know.
Contender, right? Right. I am a contender, so I am in the tier, and we do like tier rankings in fantasy football as opposed to everything else. He's got the best running back room. I wonder who he's got in there. Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, and then he's got a bunch of them too, which helps. But he's heavy at the top, strong at the top. Actually, I should want to trade with Mr. Baby, like his team, just his whole flat out team. All right, so that's basically how you go through your league. I mean, from a real dummy view, right? And I'm a dummy, so that makes sense. What's this spike week tool, though? While we're here, I just want to look at this. What is this doing?
So this will show you spike weeks in different ranges, right? So you have like high, medium, and low, and these are just different thresholds. If you go at the very top, there's like a how to use that will go into all the math behind each of them. But basically, just know high threshold's really good. The medium one is like a quality starter, and then the low one's like starter, and then the medium one's like an above average starter.
I got it. And then we can sort it by high spike week. And again, this is partly why I won the title. Tyreek Hill at 60%, Alvin Kamara 53%, Rashad White at 50%, and then Gibbs at 42%. Flacco is kind of fugazi at 40%, but that's got nothing to do with you. But yeah, these guys carried me to the title, looks like.
Yeah, I mean, capturing those high spike weeks is huge. And this is an easy way to kind of like filter into all that and see what's going on there.
And then we got utilization view, which is,
it goes over target share, rush share, snap share, all those types of stats that people like.
So if you are a content creator, this is a good place to come to if you want to look this information up. And I know I am, I write an article for DD, at least I did last year, on target share, routes run, and things like that. Now, we don't have routes run in here, but I will say this. Every time I've ever asked you to do something, you've added it, as long as it makes sense and it's doable.
I will say, if you press that gear and then to the left, the customized table, and you can search routes, and routes are in there. I have like probably 60 different metrics in here that you can add to the table.
Oh, snaps per game. Oh my God, dude. And this is why I love getting on this with you, because I didn't even know that was there. Pass attempts per game, pass completions, so it's probably down a little bit. Passing.
Yeah, you can also search it as well. There's like a little search bar.
Right there. So routes. Oh my God, routes per game, targets, route share. Oh my goodness.
You can also add more visualizations as well if you want more charts. If you're a big chart guy.
Okay, charts are good. You know what? How do I do that?
It's in the top right.
Top right. This is the right. This is the
that
right
one right there.
Here. That would be the right. High spike week count. Look at that. Oh, and it's a scatter chart. Is that what they call those?
Well, some are scatter and some are line. They'll say on there. So like that's a line chart. If you scroll down, you have two charts already selected, so it adds it below it.
All right. So let's get rid of the ones that were already in there. Or not, whatever.
There they are.
It says trade value. Get rid of you. I don't care about you. Trade value versus rush share. Interesting. High spike week. Spike week count. Look at that. That's beautiful. And then you throw in the mid and then low. For fun, throw in the percentage. I just keep adding more things to this.
I know. Just keep adding all the charts you like.
And I'm not breaking it.
No.
Dude. Yeah, this is cool. So if you're a content creator, which a lot of people are, this site's going to be even useful for that. Not just your fantasy stuff, your actual content creation. People love pretty charts with pretty colors. This is awesome, dude. I really awesome. Like I said, I just wanted to hit a couple things. I didn't want to go too deep, but I will tell anyone that is playing fantasy football, content creating, dude, just go in here, spend an hour just digging around stuff. Every time I think that I found everything, I haven't. There's more to find. There's a trade database. I want to look up Pat Mahomes. I could pick, Superflex, scoring format. Let's just search. I can pick the types of settings I want, right?
Yep. And you can even, when you're logged into your own league, it will filter to just your league settings.
So our league settings are super specific. 5-point passing, touchdown, PPC, tight end premium, all that good stuff. So that's why you don't see a lot of them in there. But even then, you can see the 4 trades that match them exactly. Pat Mahomes for Will Levis, the 107, the 207, and the 25 first. That feels light to me. Whoever did that.
Yeah, that's someone that needs to start watching some Destination Devy content.
Now I'll tell you, this one's good. Getting Kyler Murray and Amon-Ra for Patrick Mahomes, Deshaun Watson, and 25 third.
Yeah, I like that one. I will say too, this is filtered for the past month as well. In the right option, there's a date range. So if you, for example, we're talking Chris Brooks. If you're like, oh, when Chris Brooks was starting to get some hype, like you could filter that month where people wanted to pick him up and see what people were offering for him or something like that. So it lets you drill into things a little bit more.
Yeah, look, going back, I put in 4 months, right? That's 120 days, I think. That's how math works. Lot more trades. So there's trade database, dude. There's literally anything you need, you can find on your site just about. And if you can't, let me know actually, and I'll DM Jeremy. I don't need all you people DMing Jeremy. Like that's not cool. Let me do it because I work with Jeremy, and I've actually been DMing him for a long time, asking him for stuff. And it's usually, if it's useful, he'll put it in there, and if it's not, he'll still placate me. Or if it already exists, he'll be very kindly tell me that it already exists. So, dude, I appreciate you coming on. Like I said, just a high level view of stuff. Anything you want to say? Where can people find you? What's the website, the URL, all that good stuff?
Yes, it's dynasty-daddy.com. It's basically all free. I mean, you can pay for the Patreon if you want, but
join the Patreon.
Everything that we showed today was free. And yeah, I mean, the Patreon just has some premium features like account management. You can log in to all your leagues across all platforms and things like that. And the league infused metrics, anything that's like in development. And I'm not confident that I'm 100% like it yet. I'll put it behind there. So then, people that are really invested and really want that stuff can play around with it.
And what I think I'll do is maybe I'll force you to come back on with me, and we're going to go into the patron view of this. But that patron view is going to be for Destination 5, Dynasty Trades in 5, Destination Devy, Heisman tier, any Destination Devy people. Maybe we'll put a video together just for them. So that's my sales pitch. Joe, go get the D5 on Destination Devy. You get all the good stuff. So now, dude, I appreciate you coming on. I guess we'll talk soon. We talk
absolutely.
Daily. All right, everybody. This is the first time I actually hosted something. Probably went poorly, but thank you for watching, and we'll talk next week-ish. Bye.